Everyone, this is Nibiru Watcher. It is June 10, 2017. This is a follow-up from yesterday's post because it is worth showing you some absolutely stunning pictures, so hold on to your hats. I did have some trolls in that last video telling me that they didn't see shadows or doubters. So let's see if we can address some of those problems and show you something that's absolutely incredible. In the last video, I'd shown you what some trolls and debunkers and doubters would say, that this is a bug or a spider on the lens, but let's show you where I left off in this photo. It was a picture right about here, but this is what I want to talk about, folks. Are you ready for this? Now, this object in the sky is at 1 o'clock in the morning, and let's look at stellarium here to look at our lighting sources and everything else, because I want to point some things out to you. So this is June 10th at 1:30 in the morning. This is stellarium. You can see that I've got I'm going to set this thing to 1:30 in the morning. And you'll see that the location, this little arrow, is over Italy, Germany. This is the area that is in question. And we can see that the moon is in the south. Since the camera is, let me show you here, this camera, let's translate this real quick, goes north, which means the light of this object is behind the camera. And we can see, as I'll show you, the shadows of these trees from the moonlight is pointing this way in the high moonlight. Now check this out. The only thing, what you're going to see next, is people say, oh, it's the camera making adjustments for the night sky. Yeah, it does that in the middle of the night with the moon behind the camera. Check this out. The only thing that changes the light values on the lens or the camera would be the f-stop, the ISO speed, and the exposure compensation. Now, behold, absolutely no change. F-stop at 4, ISO at 800, and the compensation at 2 volts. See that? No difference. No change in the camera. Same exposure time. Nothing changed. Why is that? Some people had said, hey, how come this ain't waking up people at night? The light would be out. Wouldn't everybody be seeing that? Good point. Unless it was an infrared light that it shined in front of the camera, lighting up this area. Cameras can see in the near infrared spectrum. A lot of things that we see on cameras cannot be seen with the naked eye. This is one of them. Where have we seen this before? Got any proof? Well, the last time we saw this plasma spider, jokingly, right? And another camera over here. Let's go back. This was taken over Lake Starnberg in the middle of the night. Well, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, near 2016. The aperture at 3.5, the focal length, the ISO speed maxed out at 1600 at 4 electrovolts. Watch this. Wow, 3.5, 1600, 11 volts, nothing changed on the camera, and it goes back to dark. What could possibly light that up? Look at that. It's the infrared spectrum. We're getting it for a camera. I'll bet your images look just like this. See, like how all the lights washed out. Now, I had been trolled and questioned about shadows. Well, let's go back and revisit this one. Just because I didn't point it out doesn't mean it wasn't there. I believe these to be the moons and the plasma that connects them as they orbit around. And this, my friends, is your shadow reflecting on the water. Because in the one moment that this camera took this picture, that's when it disappeared. Now you see it, now you don't. See? The other ones are over here. The moon, again, is behind the camera, and we can see that this is facing the west, still relatively behind the camera. There's going to be a shadow. You've got to consider where the light's coming from. You also have to consider the lens array that we see. These are not solid objects. Again, of course not. There's a lens array. It brings in distorted light. We're seeing something out of focus. When you look at something out of focus, it's kind of like a hologram. Go back and watch my fake sun videos on how this works. I'm showing you how effective this is. Of course, we can have out of focus planets traveling through the nighttime sky. So again, let's look at where this would be. The moon is facing the south, and this shot was facing the west. And where does that put us? That puts us in the spectrum of the Virgo constellation. Just a little piece of information to know that it all fall into place. It seems to be traveling towards this area of Virgo right here. Who knows? Maybe on October 10th, it'll pass by that section of the Virgo constellation. And I do have a little proof about the shadows of the objects, but I can't get the mirror image. You can't always get it. You're not always going to get a shadow of something you see in the sky. You look at the direction the shadow's being cast. It's not always directly above it. You've got to consider the light source. Shadows are different than light. It doesn't always reflect like you think it should. So there are the shadowy objects of the three. Let's see if I can find this. Of these objects. And again, some will ask, how is it possible they remain stationary in the sky? Keep in mind, these objects are orbiting around planet X. Planet X is orbiting around Nemesis, and Nemesis is orbiting around our sun. Well, once around, actually, as it draws closer. And we believe that to be somewhere near in, guess what? The constellation in Aquarius. So I'm glad we're all on the same page with that one. So check out this once again. Why do you think would ever cause this to happen? That something would cause the camera to light up the whole sky, nobody notice it, and then drop off, and yet the camera has never changed any values. And yet we see that. Look at these little electric filaments called plasma. Does that look really like anything like space? I'm not going to go and keep showing you pictures of what a camera fire looks like when it's right up on a camera. So I hope you appreciate this. Again, we see the same thing, and if you have pictures of this, please send them to me, of this spidery-like shadow appearing in our skies, which I believe we're going to start seeing in the naked eye, especially if it's behind chemtrails. And expect birds to run and see all kinds of strange things happen at this time, and to be accompanied by its 4 plasma-connected moons. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a blessed day. Copy, like, and share. See you at the Lord's Supper.